I've got a special guest in here. We've got AgitoLive is with us, and we're going to teach you a little bit of a lesson. Right, WNUT After Dark is here to keep you educated on all things metal. Crap, we are back. Agito, we finally broke back into the WNUT studios.
Yeah, finally.
It's been a while.
It has been a while.
It's been,
I'm stuck in that closet, man.
Right. Stoney changed the locks on us, and he's been mocking us for the past couple episodes.
What the hell?
WNUT. He's been like, when are we going to get the next After Dark episode?
Well, you shouldn't have changed the locks.
Yep.
Would have been here sooner. It's his fault.
I kept saying we had some technical difficulties. What I meant was I needed to go buy a new crowbar.
Yeah.
All right. So, as has been teased a little bit, this is going to be a little bit of a longer After Dark episode.
Yeah.
We're going to be going over some educational things, some important aspects of reality. Because, Agito, you're on After Dark a lot.
Yeah,
but
I am.
Would you classify yourself as a historian of metal?
Not even a little bit.
Okay. Would you classify yourself as a student of metal?
At this point, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
I've learned a lot.
Awesome. Well, now everyone listening is going to be a student of metal. We're going to go through, obviously not every metal band that's ever been around, because that's a shitload. But we are going to go through kind of the generations of metal. I'm also, yet again, going to put a little disclaimer here. Not every genre of metal is going to be hit.
I would hope not, because from my understanding as a student of metal, there are as many metal genres as there are porn tags.
Yeah, I would say pretty close to. But what I want people to do is think about your favorite genre of metal if you're listening. If you don't hear about it in this episode, yell at us. Tell us about it.
Tell us all about it.
Tell us to fuck off because we're idiots.
How dare you not educate someone on that specific genre of metal?
And there's actually a few of them that I'm aware of. I'm looking down at my list now that I know that I'm not hitting on. So call me out, and we'll do a follow-up episode with everything that you guys called us out on.
Yeah.
All right?
In the comments, don't they have that the text number as well?
Yeah, we do. Where's that? Yeah, hit us up on the text line. It's 803-220-1942.
Yeah.
And one thing, don't forget, guys, we're doing this for the love of the metal. We're doing this for the love of rock and roll and the love of really fucking awesome gangster rap and the love of just going out there and doing it. If you want to support the show, you do that by going to WNUTshop.com. Just take a poke around. You know what? Even if you don't buy anything, take a look, because there's some awesome shit.
There's some really good shit on there.
Buy some stuff.
Cool shirts.
All right, so let's get started here. The birth of metal. Most people will say earliest metal would be called proto-metal, and we're going to be hitting on that earlier.
Okay. All right.
But it's actually older than that. It's before that. It's Bach. It's Beethoven. It's Wagner.
Okay.
It's all of those classical composers that were bringing out something that had a darkness and a rawness into it.
Okay.
Now, I'm not going to start playing these little tidbits here because they do take 18 to 20 minutes, and the episode's going to be long enough as it is. But what I want you to do is, as we're going through this, listen for those kind of hints of classical music.
Okay.
Because
I can do that.
That's where a lot of the history of metal is.
I love things that are influenced by classical music, and most modern music is influenced by classical music, so it makes sense.
It is, yeah. And there's going to be a lot of people out there going, but no, it's blues and jazz. And that's true, but blues and jazz were based on big band, which was based on classical.
Yeah.
So it's an evolution of music, and it's okay. All right. So let's start with that proto-metal. Let's start with that. It's not even called metal yet.
All right, what are we looking at?
The term heavy metal hasn't been made.
Okay, so what is it called? Just music, I guess?
It's just rock and roll.
It's just rock and roll. Okay.
Right? In fact, some places in England, they're calling it mod rock.
Mod rock?
Of the movement of the mods, the modernists.
Oh, okay.
On their little scooters to rebel against the motorcyclists, the leathers.
I'm not gonna lie, that doesn't sound metal at all.
Well, it doesn't, but the Who are definitely some of the grandfathers of metal. They're not the epitome of it. They're not, we've got Led Zeppelin, we've got a lot of Black Sabbath that we've been hearing lately, so I'm avoiding that. But the Who really bring in the raw power of it. The smashing of the guitar on stage, that was Daltrey. He's, the lead guitarist from the Who.
Gotcha.
And the Who can bring us some of that raw energy and power. You know what? Let's take a listen.
People try to put us to down, talking about my generation, just because we get around. Talking about my generation, things they do look awful. Talking about my generation, I hope I die before I get old. Talking about my generation, this is my generation, baby. Why don't you all fade away? Don't try to dig what we all say. I'm not trying to cause a big sensation. I'm just talking about my generation. My generation. This is my generation, baby. Don't you all fade away? Don't try to dig what we all say. I'm trying to cause a big sensation. Just talking about my generation. This is my generation. This is my generation, baby. My generation. People try to put us to down, talking about my generation, just because we get around. Talking about my generation, things they do look awful cold. My generation, I hope I die before I get old. Talking about my generation, this is my generation, baby. My generation.
All right, that was 1967's "My Generation" by the Who. Tell me what you thought of that one.
I liked it. The like the constant beat, the doom 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 doom. I feel like I've heard that a lot. That sound a lot.
It's a pretty well known song. They use it in advertising.
Yeah, I've definitely heard that in advertising. It feels very. Well, you mentioned jazz like influences earlier. It feels very jazzy.
Yeah, absolutely.
It feels very, very jazzy, especially with the way he like over words and stuff along those lines. Like
it's like he's about to tell people to fuck off instead of fade away.
Yeah, exactly. It's good. It's I like it.
The Who's definitely an interesting band to listen into. They stuck around for a long time, and they've even been in the news in the past 20 years. But we're gonna let let other people look that up on their own because all charges were dropped.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah. So
not my generation.
Right. Right. So moving on from there, so that's in the 60s, right? So we're going to look into the 70s a little bit, and this is where the terminology for heavy metal begins. Okay. There's a huge argument as to. Oh, go ahead.
Well, the question there is like, so it was called heavy metal first, and then metal later.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
So there's a lot of discourse onto who was the first band to either say heavy metal or to be labeled as heavy metal. Okay. There's going to be a lot of people saying it's Led Zeppelin.
Right.
There's going to be a lot of people saying that it's Black Sabbath.
Right.
Which you could also call that dinosaur metal based on how slow and melodic it is. But that has a whole different genre meaning later on.
Okay.
You may also say that it's Deep Purple.
Deep Purple?
Deep Purple, and that's our next band we're going to be bringing out.
Okay.
I actually saw the very first concert I ever went to was Deep Purple.
Oh, wow.
Saw them in Myrtle Beach live. Absolutely fantastic, and here they are. Let's bring out a classic here. 1972 Smoke on the Water by Deep Purple.
That was awesome. First, I want to start with the guitar solo right at almost the 3-minute mark.
Yeah.
Right? Just, you're talking about classical influences, right?
Right.
That felt like if I was listening to like a Beethoven or something along those lines, that felt like the really high points.
Yes.
Where it's a very like the melody just goes and goes, and it feels very complicated, like it's taking you places, right?
Absolutely.
Like you're going here and then you're going over there and then you're going back down here. It's very well done.
So part of that might be because this was actually a true story.
Okay.
That song is about the actual fire that consumed the Montreux Casino in Switzerland in 1971. Deep Purple was there.
Oh, wow.
They had rented out a mobile studio from the Rolling Stones
Wow.
to record their album Machine Head. And Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention were playing that night. And a fan actually fired a flare gun, actually burnt the whole thing down. Everybody had to run for their lives.
Wow.
It really happened.
Wow. That's that's
and-
crazy. Who's their lead singer, their vocals on that? Because his voice to the band's like music. I don't know if he's also playing, like if he's on the guitar at the same time.
He's just a frontman.
He's
Ian
just a
Gillan
frontman. Okay.
Is absolutely amazing.
Absolutely amazing. Like he is. I also felt like I was on a journey just in the sounds from his vocals, and that opening, the dun dun dun.
absolutely.
That I've definitely heard that like 1,000 times.
I can tell you that of Generation X, that's the first thing any guitarist plays.
Okay.
That's the first thing
I feel like I've heard you riff that before.
Probably,
on your guitar. There was also a part in there that I could have swore it was part of the opener for the show.
So
Like
there's a similar chord progression.
There's similar chord progression. Chord progressions are all,
there's only so many.
There's only so many, exactly. So yeah, no, that was absolutely fantastic. What was that one called again?
That is Smoke on the Water by Deep Purple.
Smoke on the Water by
And I'm gonna be
Deep
honest with you,
Purple.
Anything by Deep Purple. So I actually had a hard time choosing because my actual favorite song by them is a song called Hush, which is about being in the jungles in the Vietnam War.
Oh wow, okay.
It's
We'll
really
have to listen to more of them later.
Absolutely great.
Absolutely.
Speaking
really like
of
that.
the 70s, though, we're going to move on a little bit into the 70s because there's a lot of different genres of metal that were born in the 70s.
Right.
And, the early heavy metal, things like what we just listened to, and then it evolved into almost a challenge of skill. So the speed in which you riffed on the guitar,
Right.
the way you
Became
ripped up and down the neck, the way your drummer just exploded the stage,
Came a thing.
that became a whole genre
Louder
in
and
of
bigger.
itself.
Yeah.
In fact, it's called speed metal.
Oh, okay.
And I think, to me, the perfect example of speed metal is fucking Slayer.
Okay.
Now, just a little disclaimer, Slayer itself, while speed metal did come out in the late 70s, Slayer themselves, their first album was 1983.
Ah.
All right, so we're just gonna put that little disclaimer there. I don't want you guys freaking out in the comments and be like, "That's not the 70s."
Not a real fan.
Not a real fan. Blood by Slayer, very much a change in kind of the way we're seeing things. However, if you've ever been stuck in about 30 musical appreciation classes, you'll realize that their structuring and the way they shifted from different speeds and keys within the song, that's actually closer to classical music than the previous ones that we've seen.
Okay. I'm not going to be popular with this band. I did not like that song.
That's all right. Hey, listen, speed metal's not for everybody. Thrash is not for everybody.
I think the major part of it is that when it started out, I was vibing with it. I was, I'm going along. And maybe this is the point. It felt like it ran away from me.
Yeah.
Like the song I was here with it and I'm there and I'm keeping up. And then it was over there, just across the field. It was completely gone. And I was like, I have no idea what's happening anymore.
That's all right. And that is kind of the point of speed metal, so that's awesome. I'm glad you saw it that way.
And I think, but with that said, I think the lyrics also took away from the whole thing. I feel like if you just cut the lyrics out and you just had them just doing instrumental stuff the whole way through, like if it's just an instrumental song, being more like more classic in that way, right? More on that classical influence. I think if they just took out the lyrics and just stayed the speed, it would have been better. That
actually brings up a really good
when I felt like I was catching back up,
because
it would slow down again and I'd catch back up. There would also be lyrics, and I'd stop. It's like the lyrics were stopping me, from continuing to keep up.
Well, there's someone who actually took this song and put the lyrics to the music of Country Roads.
Country Roads. I don't think I've heard that song before.
The country roads take me home.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah. They put those lyrics to that.
That being said, let's play that.
Okay, sure.
Because I think when you hear them separate, you'll like them separately.
Okay.
I really do.
I'm here for it.
So what we're going to do is we're going to pull up, I think it's AJP, who does Country Road, or Raining Blood, Country Roads, a Slayer, John Denver mashup.
Wow.
So let's grab that real quick. Yeah, that's a mouthful, huh?
Yeah.
Trapped in purgatory, a lifeless object, alive, awaiting reprisal. Death will be their acquisition. The sky's turning red, return to power draws near, falling to me. Sky's crimson tears, abolish the rules made of stone. Pierced from below, the souls of my treacherous past, betrayed by many, now ornaments dripping above, awaiting the hour of reprisal. Your time slips away. Raining blood from a lacerated sky, bleeding its horror, creating my structure. Now I shall rain in blood, rain in blood, rain in blood from a lacerated sky, bleeding its horror, creating my structure. Now I shall rain in blood. Now I shall rain in blood. Now I shall rain in blood.
Okay. Okay, so that was AJP's version of Raining Blood with Country Roads. What did you think of the lyrics in that aspect?
In that, the lyrics they come across better. Like I'm able to understand them better.
Right.
And I think they fit well with that melody pretty well. I liked it that way. That was good. I liked it.
Sometimes a lot of things that I like to pull up are metal redoing classic songs like pop songs and things like that. And I've got to say, I love it when it goes the other way. Right. Because it's not often that you get that. It's not often that you get
you can go over YouTube and find metal covers of pretty much any other song and genre, but trying to find people who do covers of metal in other formats is difficult.
It is. Now, that being said, speed metal I would definitely call kind of the ugly metal at that point, right?
Okay.
So a lot of the themes are generally war, death. The like Raining Blood is about a soul that's been cast from heaven.
That's from what the 80s and the 70s, right?
70s, early 80s. Yeah,
so I mean, it's the time period as well. What was going on in the world?
Absolutely, but there was
reflects
a countenance to that. There was an opposition to that that started up in the pop area.
Okay.
Right, and it moved in, and it was kind of big hair, makeup, flashy clothes.
So like Kiss.
Glam metal.
Oh,
so
okay.
you know what? I would kind of say Kiss is in there with the shock rock and the glam metal. For my example here, we're actually going to be looking at a band that I think is the epitome of glam metal, which there's a lot of them in the 80s.
All right.
But this is called Rat. This is off their album Out of the Cellar.
Abuse the cells, get in our way. We'll put you on
So that was Round and Round by Rat off their Out of the Cellar album. Now, I will preface this with they had a lot of influence from bands like David Bowie that were from the 70s, but I could feel that. The explosion of glam was definitely in the 80s. What did you think?
Yeah, I didn't even think of David Bowie when you talked about glam stuff. I liked the song, but I think before today, in my head, if someone like played this song, I'd be like, oh, that's a cool rock and roll song. I wouldn't have thought, oh, that's metal.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know why, but just to me, it came across to more, to my ear anyways, as more like a rock song. Not necessarily like you. I can hear. I feel like in a stadium that song would be amazing.
Yeah,
like you could feel the energy of it, and I don't know. That to me,
well, and that makes sense, kind of, because glam metal actually was the pop music of the early '80s.
So that would make sense. Yeah,
so it was the metal.
Yeah.
Now that being said, there was so glam metal was kind of a push away from all the ugliness, right?
Yeah.
There was a push away from all the beauty. And that's thrash metal.
Okay.
Which moves along very similar lines to speed metal, with a little bit more of a technical touch to it. There are some rather famous bands out there. There's an incredibly famous band that I'm not a fan of called Metallica.
Right.
That started out as thrash metal.
Okay.
But what's really cool about Metallica is they fired probably their best member, and that member went on and made his own band.
Oh.
It's called Megadeth.
Oh, I've heard of Megadeth.
You've heard of Megadeth.
I've heard of Megadeth.
Well, let's hear some Megadeth.
Awesome. Let's go.
You take a mortal man and put him in control. Watch him become a god.
right, that was Dave Mustaine with Megadeth and off the Countdown for Extinction album with Symphony of Destruction, inciting revolution everywhere they go.
So maybe this will make sense then, and kind of to how my brain goes. So when listening to that song, I felt like I was in like an underground, almost like speakeasy area where someone is like they're metalling out, rocking out, however you want to say it, or jazz. It felt very like that, but more like just underground. Like it was underground, very much underground. Like we're literally underground in like a small area or a large area where like, you know, people have snuck down here and this guy is just up there, you know, everybody's playing their parts and he's just, you know, every once in a while saying some words, you know, bringing us in, drawing us into it. It was really good. Like I could visualize the whole scene of like everybody like standing there just watching as he's singing the song. It's cool.
All right.
I don't know. It's very cool. I like it a lot.
That's an incredible interpretation of it. I like that.
Yeah.
And it does kind of fit with those themes. A lot of that album is about, well, it's honestly, sometimes as a joke in the metal industry, Megadeth is referred to as protest metal. Because a lot of their themes, and this doesn't have to do with like a genre of metal, but a lot of their themes are in protest of something. Like the lead track off the album, Countdown to Extinction, is about driving animals to extinction through progress. Yeah, you know, and like you know, Symphony of Destruction is about rising up against the governments that are oppressing you.
Well, that's what I mean. Why I could feel like it's like everybody was handed a pamphlet and said, "Hey, come here. We're rebelling and we're gonna meet underground somewhere, you know, in a very dark room in a dark area with low lights, and we're gonna rock out."
Right. And it almost feels like there's a little bit of hope there.
Yeah,
but you know where there's not hope? Doom metal.
Oh, doom metal.
So there is a genre of metal that is a lot more popular in the Scandinavian countries of doom metal. This is metal that is well, it's the acceptance that the end is coming.
Okay.
And the end is here.
I'm sitting here alone in darkness, waiting to be free. Lonely and forlorn, I am crying. I long for my time to come. Death means just life. Please let me die in solitude.
Okay, so that was Candlemass with Solitude off of their album Epicus Doomicus Metalicus, and I got a confession, man. Doom metal's not my thing.
I have mixed feelings. So something I'm realizing going through this is that to the classical references and stuff, the guitar and the drums have basically replaced like the piano or the organ and the trumpets from classic to this. That's your replacements, and it almost is like a 1-to-1 in terms of like the melodies and the tones that you hear there. It's very interesting, especially in that. I feel like that to me so far was the closest to hearing its.
I can see that. I can see that.
The vocals on that though were really good in my opinion. Like I really liked his.
Yeah, Candlemass's lead singer is actually quite good.
He has there's just a lot of variation there. I could feel
he would do well in a different genre that's actually coming up later. That's my favorite genre.
But I also that was also the first one I also felt, or something I guess maybe I'm feeling about all of them is maybe because the riffs and certain chords are incredibly common. I'm starting to hear the theme through a lot of these songs. There seems to be a very similar chord, that doom doom doom, like that theme seems to be in almost every song we've listened to so far.
That kind of brings us all the way back to the Deep Purple Smoke on the Water.
Yeah, it did.
Except very much slowed down.
You slow her down. Yeah, it's just the variation of the speed of it. Which makes sense when if you're doing doom, you want something that's more slow and methodical, and if you're doing like speed or thrash, like we were doing earlier, you want some fast and tempo, but it's still the same. It's interesting.
Speaking of the variations, the next variation we're going to do is going to be what is currently popular in so doom metal was really popular in the Scandinavian states back 20, 30 years ago, whereas currently black metal is the popular thing up there. And we're going to be doing a big shift in vocals at this point.
Okay.
Let's go take a look for the next one, because we're going to be looking at black metal and then death metal. Okay. And we're going to do these one at a time, but they both have very similar vocal styles, at least in my opinion, for the most part.
We'll see what I think.
Yeah, we'll see what we mean. We're going to start off with black metal. This is Behemoth. All right, that was Barzabel by Behemoth. What'd you think there? Yeah.
That was my reactions. Like we got the opening chords and stuff. It was like a minute before the song actually started.
It was a minute and 43 seconds.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It was a day. And then when the vocals came in, like I like growls. I like when they're used well. But the whole song is a growl.
Yeah. So the reason it's apparently really popular, that style is very popular in the Nordic countries, is they're very quiet, closed-off people nowadays, and that kind of singing, that kind of scream metal actually gets out all of their aggression.
Okay, that makes sense. Like from a cultural standpoint, that's cool.
I'm into, it's fine.
Not really to my taste either.
Now, for a scream metal, I do like some scream metal, and generally it's going to be death metal.
Okay.
In particular, strangely enough, there's a French band.
Okay, I'm here for this.
Gojira. They actually played the opening.
It's a French band named after a Japanese monster.
Exactly.
Awesome, I'm here for it. Let's go.
All right, let's hit some Gojira. That was Gojira, Stranded, off of the album Magma. There we go.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, at first, honestly, the song wasn't grabbing me, but as I kind of sat in it, like sat in the song, I was like, okay, I'm feeling this. And by the time we got to the middle of it, the guitar solo area and things along those lines, and the lyrics really started to come to me, I was like, to use my example from before, where we were like in an underground area, that for like we were starting to come out of that a little bit. And it wasn't that we were like, rocking out in a big stadium, but we were now like in the street or something, is what it felt like. I don't know. It's got a good rhythm.
So the thing with that song is that to me, the guitars and the drums bring the anxiety of the lyrics to life.
Yeah, I feel like something's
don't
happening.
Close the door on me. You're killing me face down dead. Is it's repeated, but you kind of feel it in that the anxiety of the music itself, which is kind of, I guess, fucked up for nowadays. But
a little bit.
The song's been around a while, so.
For me, oftentimes when it comes to music, I listen to lyrics and I try to pay attention to them. But for me, it's how the story you tell with your chords, though, with the sound, rather than the story you're telling with your words, the emotions that the sound invokes out of me, rather than just the words.
Well, you listen to a lot of non-English music, don't you?
Yes, I do. I listen.
That's probably part of that.
That's probably too. Yeah, and I've been doing that since I was small. So for me, it's always been about the melodies, the tones, and all that. And so for that one had way more variation. I small variations just constantly through the whole thing, I feel. And I just enjoyed that a lot. It was another one of those rides where I felt like I was on a ride that wasn't stopping. Like there was, like you say, tension and stuff.
Yeah.
Like you're strapped in.
And I'll be honest with you, one of my favorite songs by them, I couldn't put it on because it's like 9 minutes long. It's called Flying Whales. It's about whales flying through space.
Okay, space whales.
Yeah, it's freaking awesome. Okay. But speaking of going on a journey, let's go on a journey real quick to my favorite genre of metal.
All right.
And that's power metal.
All right, let's go.
Okay, so here's the thing. Normally on After Dark, I've played a lot of Camelot, which is definitely the
I love Camelot.
Power metal. But we're going to do something a little bit different. We're actually going to pull in, let's go to a band that Stoney actually introduced me to when I said, I've run out of Iron Maiden.
Okay.
And he said, have you heard of Ed Guy?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Freak Show! Around is killing me. No thunder, wind, and rain. Eels are crawling everywhere, compounding with the game. Without destination, the faceless crowd is out to kill all kinds of variations. You're trying to trample down my dreams. I'm shot in the dark. Mysteria, a spirit rising. Eldritch
that was Ed Guy Mysteria off of Hellfire Club. One of my favorite fucking albums, period.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I like Camelot. I clearly like power metal. I like that kind of stuff. I actually, at this time when we were listening to it, I was actually kind of looking for the sound this time, and someone's gonna get mad at me for saying this. There's a part in there, because similar chords, right? That my young ass was like, this sounds like a Power Rangers song.
Yeah,
this sounds like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, like the thing in there.
That's the kind of feel that the Power Rangers would have wanted to have, that build up.
Because it felt like, to go back to my analogy I've been using this time, where we're underground and now we're on the streets. Now we're fighting in those streets.
Absolutely.
We're absolutely fighting in those streets now. So, yeah, I like
nobody
it.
mad that you compared Mysteria and power metal to what has represented a rise of power.
Yeah.
So, that's cool.
Absolutely.
I like that analogy. That's cool. Now, that being said, our next genre is going to be a little bit different from the power metal, although it really does, like, bring you up. So, industrial metal, you've got that raw sound. Mm-hmm. You've got a lot of electronics to get that, which I always found that kind of be ironic.
Right.
And there's a lot of bands out there that I'll be honest with you, get labeled as industrial metal, and we were looking into this a little bit earlier and couldn't really find a metal song for 9 Inch Nails. Because they were definitely techno, definitely industrial, but not industrial metal.
Yeah, it didn't sound like it wasn't, as I would put it wasn't hard enough.
Right.
With its sounds.
So what we did is we took another look at a couple different examples, and we found there's a lot of great ones. There's Rammstein. There's
Rob Zombie.
Rob Zombie. Well, and speaking of Rob Zombie, there's Rob Zombie's little brother who started a band called Power Man 5000.
All right.
And Agito says he's never heard Power Man 5000.
Never heard of him.
And I gotta say, if you haven't heard the science fiction world of Power Man 5000, you gotta go listen to Spider. He's awesome, and let's do that right now.
Total control. Now is there anybody out there? Now watch yourself, cause we can't go. What is it really that is in your head? What little life that you had just died. I'm gonna be the one that's taking over. Now this is what it's like when worlds collide. Are you ready to go? Cause I'm ready to go. What you gonna do, baby, baby? Are you going with me? Cause I'm going with you. That's the end of all time. What is it really that motivates you? The need to fly or this fear stop? I'll go along. Then you realize when we get there, I see 9 or 10 drop. Now who's the light and who is the devil? You can't decide, so I'll be your guide. And one by one they will be chosen. Now this is what it's like when worlds collide. Are you ready to go? Cause I'm ready to go. What you gonna do, baby, baby? Are you going with me? Cause I'm going with you. That's the end of all time.
You are a robot.
right, that was Power Man 5000 with Worlds Collide. And now I was going to come up with a little tidbit about a whole Final Fantasy controversy, but Agito jumped out of his chair.
Yeah, I jumped out of my chair as soon as the song started playing, ran over and wanted to look at the song because I was like, wait, this is just Sephiroth's theme from Final Fantasy XIV. And I was like, oh, this is the song where that controversy came from.
Right.
Back when that raid came out. There was a whole thing where the band who did Worlds Collide, what are they called again? Sorry.
Power Man 5000.
Power Man 5000 made a post on like Facebook or Twitter, I think it was Facebook at the time, about, oh man, they stole our song. It's, why would anybody not notice this? And then Final Fantasy, the creators over at Final Fantasy 14 came out and was like, no, we were making a song, blah, 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 and it never went anywhere. There was never a lawsuit or anything along those lines. They were just like, hey, we made a good song. We hope you enjoy it. And sorry, it sounds like yours. That's it.
Yeah, but definitely I think that was mostly a controversy amongst fans.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Because it looks like it started because fans noticed the similarities first. Right. Because it's a song that plays when you're fighting a very specific boss in the game. It's the theme song of the boss. It's at some point I want to do a songs in video games kind of thing. Absolutely. So I'll probably put that on my list of one to come back to kind of loop back around to that at some point. But it's a very good song. So as far as that song, I mean, I like it as well, but I was kind of distracted by the fact that in my head I was hearing the Final Fantasy XIV theme because that song is on my active playlist that I listen to.
I definitely recommend checking out any of the Power Man 5000 albums. They're all really good. And
so I do like industrial metal for sure.
They have this great theme to each one of the albums. In fact, one of the albums that Power Man 5000 came out with, they released the album and then 2-3 weeks later decided they didn't like it. It wasn't good enough. It wasn't up to their standards. They pulled it from the store shelves.
Wow.
So there's only 1,800 copies out there. And you can do a little bit of digging. Some people have thrown them up on the internet.
Yeah.
But take a look. Find the album. I don't remember the name of it. I just watched the documentary 2 or 3 days ago on it. But it's really freaking cool that Spider, the guy who's the lead singer, and he's basically the only remaining member of the original set, is so determined to make sure that the music he's putting out is good enough that he was willing to sacrifice both the original drummer and the original lead guitarist who quit in protest to doing that.
Wow. I don't know if I'd say that is a good thing or a bad thing because, it's hard to tell. Because, again, like I said, I had never even heard of them.
Right.
Right. So, but with that said, it's not like I'm some big music aficionado or anything along those lines. But
you're also not a metalhead.
I'm not a metalhead either.
Nor an industrial technician.
But I had heard of them because of the controversy, but I never went and listened to their song. So, you know what I mean?
You missed out.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on a little bit to a little bit of. Let's bring it back into the groove.
Okay.
How about some groove metal?
Groove metal?
There is such a thing as groove metal, and groove metal comes not necessarily always just from specific bands, but oftentimes bands who you don't expect
they do a
will
groove metal
have
song.
A groove metal song.
Okay.
All right, that was Pantera with Walk off of Vulgar Display of Power. It was voted the #1 groove metal band, or excuse me, groove metal album by Top Core? What the fuck was that? I've never heard of them before, but
I've
you know
never
what?
heard of them before, and that's probably for the best. Maybe I don't understand. I feel like I'm not understanding what groove means to metal's heads, because I don't feel like I was grooving. There was nothing groovy about that song at all. Like,
So it's not like 70s groovy. It's more like the movement. And it's kind of the dancing you can do with it.
Okay.
Think about being in a mosh pit. You'd be in a groove in a mosh pit.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. Not feeling it.
That's okay. That's okay.
Maybe it's because I've never been in a mosh pit.
It could be.
And I mean, I've only ever been to one concert, right? And that was the Iron Maiden one. So yeah, no, it was okay. It has that same chord stuff, you know, when I'm always trying to feel the music, but because of its groove, because it's supposed to be constant, right? It just sounded all kind of the same.
Yeah,
and I'm just I don't vibe with that.
Yeah, groove metal will often have that same repetitiveness.
Yeah, like a metronome.
Kind of like doom metal did. You know, it has that same kind of metronome feel. Yeah. That makes sense. Now, we're going to shift a little bit because there's a band that I know that you actually are a pretty big fan of and you're pretty well versed in.
Okay.
That I know you're aware that they were metal, but I don't think you were aware of their particular genre.
Okay.
Because these guys were kind of the pioneers of a genre called nu metal.
Okay.
And this is a band called Korn.
Oh, I love Korn. I did not realize they were metal. You're absolutely right.
I'm digging with my fingertips. I'm gripping at the ground I stand upon. I'm searching for fragile bones. I'm never gonna be refined. Keep trying, but I won't assimilate. Should we have come far in time? And I'm sorry I don't believe, but the evidence that I see, that there's any hope left for me. It's evolution. Just evolution.
right, that was Evolution by Korn off of their untitled 2007 album. Agito, why didn't they give a name to their album that they released in 2007?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
That's a good question. We should
That's a
ask
good question.
them that.
We should ask that. Or, you could tell us, at some point you could message us or,
Yeah.
comment.
Yeah, you
things
can,
along those lines.
you can let
Text.
us know why did Korn not name their 2007 album. Just let us know at 803-220-1942.
And what would you have named it?
I think I called it Evolution because that was the first. That was the initial drop off of that album.
So I have lots of thoughts, so bear with me here for
Do
a
it.
second. So we've been going through all the genres of metal, right? Throughout this episode. And this song, listening to it right now in this moment, made me think of the doom and death metal music that you were playing earlier.
A little bit, yeah.
Because of the way, like the song, talking, listening to the lyrics, the song talking about, that, it's this evolution. We're all making the same mistakes. We're all doing this. Everybody's, dying around us. It's bad. It's doom, right? I was definitely I got a different vibe listening to it, having listened to these other types of metal. And now I can see why this would be considered metal.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And it just, it's, I love Korn. My brother introduced me to Korn when I was like 14 or 13 years old. My brother was in his 20s. May he rest in peace. He passed away. So it's kind of a holdover from all of that. But it has those same chords in there.
Yeah.
It has those same chords in there. But Korn is just so, like you were saying earlier when we were listening to it, they're so good at the breakdown. They're so good at various different parts. In that song, I can hear a bunch of different pieces of metal that I've heard in that song.
You can really hear the different influences that the different members of the band are bringing in.
Yes, what they're all bringing in there.
They've always been incredible at that.
Yeah. Because I know there was a time period like a few years back when they did a bunch of songs with like Skrillex and stuff along those lines. People were really upset about that, but that music was still really good too. But I think that was because people's hate of like dubstep and stuff.
Yeah, and also it's people's hate of change. So when Korn first came out, you got to remember that people a lot of people hated on Korn because they didn't sing in at first. They did rap metal, and that was a little weird at the time. And a lot of the subjects that they were singing about or rapping about or whatever were very different than the kind of overarching esoteric things that metal had been dealing with.
Look at like things like Freak on the Leash.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Their songs, I guess you could kind of title them as like emo songs, right? For that age group, for certain aspects of it.
Yeah.
But to me, like I was saying just a moment ago, it sounds like doom metal.
A little bit, yeah.
Right? Or at least like in concept, from what I'm understanding of how it's supposed to be.
But not the melodic points.
Yeah, but not the melodic points. At least not most of their songs. Most of their songs are not melodic. They're heavier.
Yeah. So to me though, the thing that was unique about Korn when they came out was, so say we look back at a lot of the other songs we've been listening to before, like Megadeth is about was about revolution.
Yeah.
Gojira was about the whole conceptualness of being alone and being it's very esoteric. A lot of the things that we've been working with, we've actually kind of gone full circle here with Korn. We've gone back to a very personal thing.
Yeah,
everything they've done is very personal, very much like that Deep Purple.
Yeah, very much like the Deep Purple song. Absolutely, it's more about like looking at yourself and the things immediately around you rather than the bigger picture.
Telling the story of what's going on and what's
absolutely.
So the next thing we're going to move on to is a genre that I don't understand.
Okay.
Which is wild because there is a member of the WNUT family who introduced me to this genre of music.
Okay.
It's called metalcore. And for those of you who have ever listened to the show and you've heard Kirk on the air, he introduced me to it originally back in the day, man. I can't even guess as to what year it was, but it was brand frickin' new when he was like, yeah, I've been listening to a lot of core lately, metalcore included. And I was like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, I have no idea.
I'm going to be honest with you, I still don't understand it, but that's okay. What I do understand is that I can go into Google and I can say,
I can
give me some metalcore bands. And every single one of these bands are bands that I'm like, I like those guys.
Okay.
And in fact, what I'd like to do is just kind of bring one to you and see if you recognize any of their sounds or anything like that. And then
all right, let's see what's going on.
Here we go. So that was Killswitch Engage with My Curse. And I would say that I definitely wouldn't turn it off on the radio, but I don't think I'd seek it out either.
Yeah, I wouldn't turn the radio off. I wouldn't seek it out. And I can hear the metal in it.
Right. Oh, definitely. Very clearly metal.
But yeah, no, not really. Not at least not that particular song or that particular band, maybe.
I might have to see if I can. We might have to make a run. I think Kirk's down in Jacksonville now.
Yeah.
We might have to take a WNUT After Dark on a road trip.
Yeah.
Go kick in the door, shit on the floor, and like show us some metalcore.
Yeah, show us some metalcore. Show something that'll blow my mind.
So yeah, Kirk, you gotta let us know, man. Kirk, call into the WNUT line 803-220-1942. Leave us a message, text us, tell me that I picked the wrong fucking metalcore song.
Yeah,
because I like it. Like I said, I wouldn't turn it off.
Yeah.
But it's not my thing. But it felt like it was close.
Yeah.
Like it felt like it was on the edge.
Yeah,
of being there.
something.
And I chose that song because ClassicRockHistory.com listed that as the number 1 Killswitch Engage song, and it listed Killswitch Engage as the number 2 metalcore band.
Okay.
The one they picked as number 1 was As I Lay Dying, and I wasn't feeling it, man. So, but that is our brief history of metal.
Okay.
Now, there's a couple things that we haven't done, we haven't touched on, that are almost mixed genres.
Right.
So there are definitely songs that cross that line between thrash metal, power metal, nu metal.
We covered rap metal in a different video.
Rap metal in a different video, which would be classified as nu metal in this.
Right.
Can you think of any genres that we haven't hit on?
Hair metal?
That was glam.
Oh, that was glam.
Yeah,
okay.
hair metal is another word for glam metal.
Okay. No, I can't think of anything.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Let's play us out on a particular song that is by the person that I consider to be the true grandfather of metal, and people are going to argue with this. They're going to fight me, and that's okay.
Well, I don't care what their opinion is. They're
Ronnie
teaching me.
James motherfucking Dio. Rainbow in the Dark.
Who's lost and never found?
I just want to say thank you, Fashniz, for walking me through metal here. This was very interesting. It was very enlightening for me to see the road of metal up until now. Some things that I didn't even know.
Bitches, that's it. This is the Great Fashniz. Agito, thank you for coming by. Have a great one. I hope you all enjoyed it. Come back for the next one. We're out of here.